So welcome, proactive homeowners. Thanks for coming to our webinar entitled Rightsizing Your Life. My name again is Brian Schwatka. I'm with Keller Williams Bay Area Estates in Los Gatos. And I'm here also with Debbie Fears, who's the Director of Sales at the Terraces at Los Altos. And I'm also here with our guest speaker, Cindy Hofen, who is the founder and president of Managing Moves and More. So just a little bit about me, my purpose, my passion. The reason I get up in the morning and love my job is that I get to help homeowners make great decisions for their future, whether they're staying or whether they're going. And why I'm so excited about today's presentation is the fact that we've got two industry leaders here in Cindy and Debbie who also are just out to help you make good decisions for your future, whether you're staying or whether you're going. So we're doing that through education. We're not selling anybody anything. And personally, I educate my clients on should they stay or should they go. Once they've decided that, then where do they go? That's all the education they need. And then that gives them the clarity and certainty and confidence, breaks the paralysis of analysis, and then we're on our way. And Debbie and I go back a long way. We've been working together for about 8 years now. She's the Director of Sales at the Terraces at Los Altos. They are blessed to have her there. She knows a ton about the seniors industry. She doesn't sell, she educates. She's very focused and driven and patient and empathetic. So I'm going to hand it over to her and then she can introduce Cindy.
Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And yes, Brian and Cindy Hofen and I have been collaborating together over the last 8 to 10 years. And we enjoy helping families and guiding families in the senior industry who are interested in retirement living. And we help them guide and reduce stress, whether they're downsizing their home, selling their home, or moving into a retirement community. This is something we've been doing together for the last 8 to 10 years, and we're just here to serve. And a little bit about me. Thank you for joining us today. Some of you already know who I am, and others, this may be your first time to meet me. Welcome, pleased to meet you. I am Debbie Fears, the Sales Director here at the Terraces at Los Altos. And my journey began in the senior industry in 2007. I had the opportunity to work in care management. I had left title and escrow and started in the senior industry. After working in care management for 7 years, I joined the Terraces at Los Altos. The Terraces at Los Gatos in 2012, and then from there I joined the Terraces at Los Altos in 2019. My focus is educating and problem solving and helping find solutions. You know, as you are planning and searching for the right life plan community, we are here to help you through that process and to help you meet needs and find solutions. And I love consulting and help in serving others. So today, thank you for joining us, the Terraces at Los Altos, as we feature Cindy Hofen, the founder and president of Managing Moves and More.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you to Los Altos for giving me the opportunity to talk about their community. So I am the founder and owner of Managing Moves and More. I started the company 12 years ago. And since 2009, we worked with about 2,500 clients in the Bay Area. I'll tell you why, because a lot of people say, how did you find out about this? And why do you do it? My mother-in-law needed to move out of her house. She was 86, had lived in her home for 50 years. No, couldn't have been, 50 years. And she and my father-in-law were getting to the point where they couldn't manage anymore. And so she was very concerned though, because she didn't know what to do. She didn't know where to start, but she knew she couldn't stay in the home. And so when my kids were little, we drove out to Kansas and I spent 6 weeks helping with the process of downsizing and going through her things. I stole a couple of her fun kitchen items. But there were a couple of moments that were really key moments in making me love this. The first is we were down in the basement sorting through old clothes and she pulled out this yellow dress. It was kind of old and tattered and falling apart a little bit. But then she pulled out a picture of her wedding day and said, this is what I wore when I got married to Laurel. And she had had it down there for like, 50 or 60 years. And I just loved that moment because it was so important to her, and she shared that, and it was very special. And so fast forward to the end of the process, my sister-in-law and I helped get her new apartment set up at a senior community, and this is in Wichita. And we made it look just like their home. We put the pictures back where they were. We hung the flower picture over the flower sofa. And when she walked in, she was amazed, and she was almost stunned. And then she started crying because she said, "It looks just like home." And I thought, wow. I said, I'm like, oh, yes. And I realized what a difference that I had made in her life and helped her. And so 3 years later, I found, there's a whole organization of people who do that. So I joined the National Association of Senior Move Managers, went through the process of getting all the insurance, and my people are background checked. We're also nationally accredited, which means that we are held to the highest certification in the US as we work with our clients. And we do work throughout the area and nationwide. We're doing a lot of moving of people out of California, and I just don't understand why. But well, a lot of people are moving out, people are moving in. We work with everyone. The first thing I want to suggest that we all do is to close our eyes and take a deep breath. I think we don't do that enough. The reason I suggest that is because we're so concerned day to day about what's going to happen. But here's one thing I know. In our very long lives, when we look back on this time, we won't look back on it fondly, but it won't be the focus of our entire life. So this too shall pass, and hopefully we'll all get back to the places we love to go, which for me is a beach in Hawaii, sipping a pina colada right there in the picture, and trying to just enjoy what I'm doing. All right. So, and what I would say to you is, yes, there's lots of things to worry about, but stay positive, and why not? Because you have a choice, right? There's things to worry about, but you can't worry too much because many of them you can't do anything about. So we have to focus on the things that we can change. Help others. Running an errand or doing a little something for other people helps you realize there's people out there just like you, and helps others. Get outside, commune with nature. It's amazing how just sitting in your backyard or sitting in the park can change your whole mental feeling. Exercise, even if you get up, sit up, and stand up and sit down 10 times a day for 10 times. And be present in this moment, because it's the only time you've got. Keep connected with your friends. And a theme that I'm going to focus on for this presentation is I want to encourage everybody to develop a vision for your life. So our home is our nest, right? It's the place we go to where we feel safe, we feel secure, where we should feel calm and peaceful, right? It's our haven. But unfortunately, after many years, our homes are full of stuff. And they're full of things that you love and we love, but maybe not. Now, I've put up some heavier, denser pictures of homes, and not all homes look like that. But I think to all of us, when we feel like we have too much, it feels like we have all the stuff in the pictures, right? And then we're not happy and peaceful. So I would ask you a question. In your home, who is running the show? For a lot of people, guess what? It's the stuff. It's the stuff. And every day you get up and you look around and you think, I have so much stuff. And it's very, very overwhelming to know what to do And because you don't have a plan and you really don't know where to start, most people just either take a nap and when they forget about it and go on, or some people just feel paralyzed. But I also want to say, that's not to say that things aren't meaningful, right? Even Jean-Paul Sartre said, the totality of my possessions reflect the totality of my beings. I am what I have. What is mine is myself. And for many of us, our homes is a carefully curated museum of our life, because everything in there represents things we did, and they remind us of trips and children and activities and special moments. So they also bring us joy. But the question is, why do we keep things? And why is it so hard for us to decide to let go? Well, first, they seem useful. Why should I get rid of, I've got 6 spatulas, so they seem useful, so why should I get rid of them, right? Maybe you think things are worth money and you're going to figure out how to sell them. They make you happy. They represent you past and present. And again, that's that museum in your home. They also conjure the future, right? Maybe you've bought some crafts. Maybe you want to take up golf. So you've bought golf clubs. So they're there to encourage you, bought them to say, that's what I want to do. Respect for the gift giver. You know, sometimes when you have someone in your family, a close family member, who gives you a gift that maybe you don't love, but of course you so appreciate the sentiment. So when they come over, you always take it out of the cupboard, dust it off, and put it on the shelf. And then they're so happy to see it. And then as soon as they leave, you put it back in storage. And responsibility for family ancestry. I think this is a great burden that people have to carry around, because for a lot of you, maybe you're the final repository of the family history, the family genealogy, and there's books and all kinds of things that the last person passed on to you. And you don't want to look at them, you don't want to go through them, but you also can't throw them away, right? You can't donate them. So you feel that sense of burden to keep them. A lot of you feel that conservation is a virtue, and it is. For a lot of people, out of sight, out of mind. When we get started on the downsizing process, and we go way back in the cupboards, and we start pulling out things, people say, oh, I forgot I had that. Or I didn't even realize I already had 6 of those. And we keep things because we can, okay? But at the end of the day, it all ends up being stuff. And for a lot of people, I love this cartoon. I'd invite you in, but my life's a mess. And I think when you have too much stuff, it makes you feel like your life is a mess, even if it's all orderly, right? Even if it's all nicely organized and categorized, but there's just too much. And so why is letting go difficult? Because change is hard. We all know that. Change is really hard. No matter, even if it's good change, it still means things will be different and we have to adapt, and it won't be like it's always been. Things support our life, right? I need all of these things to do the things I do. Our identity is in our possessions. Family issues. We can't really give something away because we want the kids to have it, right? That was in our poll. For some of the really great things, we don't know who to give it to, right? For others, nobody wants it. We also, maybe we're having health issues and we don't have the energy to really start doing this. It's knowledge that we know we're getting older. And basically, a lot of us just don't have a plan. We're just kind of sitting in the middle of it. And it's really been exacerbated by the pandemic because we can't escape it, right? We can't go out and take a vacation and get away from it. So how do we get started? The first and most important thing I encourage you all to do is to adopt a plan of visionary aging. And by that, I ask you the question, does your home and lifestyle reflect your vision for the future? And do you have a plan? So I went to it, I go to, like you do, I go to lots of different talks. I went to this one author's talk that had a very big impact on me. And he said, think about how old you expect to live, right? So if you expect to live to maybe 80, and you take how old you are now, so I'm 65, so 15 divided by 65 means I have, about 20% of my life left, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But if I know I only have 20% more of my life to live, I want to be darn sure that I'm doing things that I want to do, especially before my health makes it so that I can still do the things I want to do and I'm not limited. So start thinking about what you want to do. Write it down, have a plan, really think about it. And by doing so, these are all the things that you want to include. Engagement, right? Do you want to be around other people? How do you want to have a social life? Health and wellness. Are you taking good care of your health? Are there things you can do to feel better? Think about those and get started on those. Lifestyle. Maybe some of you, my guess is most of you live in a home that's large. It's hard for you to keep up with everything. You've got to get the new roof and get the gutters and this and that. Is that what you want to spend your time doing? Or do you want to spend your time without those demands and maybe live in a senior community where, guess what? The plumbing is plugged up, you call the front desk and then you go out to lunch. So there's lots of ways to ease your lifestyle. Financial well-being, that is really important to get that under control. And then also your legacy. What is it that you want to leave behind? Now, having done this for 12 years, I know there are certain goals that are going to help everybody get started. So our goals for today, we're going to talk about organizing documents first, because I think that's where you need to start. We'll talk about managing the stress of stuff, how to make decisions, how to be aware of the value of items, and then give you some motivation first. All right. So I think you all intrinsically understand the benefits of simplifying your life, right? First of all, you have more time. You don't have to take care of your things, put your things away, find homes for new things, come home because one of your things is broken or you got to go get something fixed. You have more money. When you have a lot of things, you got to insure things, right? And make sure that nobody steals them. So then you got to get a camera. So then you got to get more insurance. Also, the benefits is you have less stress. You walk into your home, and our goal is to create a peaceful, calm home, right? That provides you peace and serenity when you walk in. I can tell you, for me, looking at that closet makes me feel pretty, okay. And then, to be honest, when I think about my closet, my own closet at home, I feel like the lady with the stress. So I, as well as everybody else, I still have things I need to do to create more calm in my life. Financial well-being, though, I want to really focus on this a lot and say very vehemently, you've got to get your documents organized and you've got to make sure your foundation is secure. And here's why I tell you that. I have worked with so many families where the parents didn't have a will, they didn't have any kind of plan on insurance, they didn't tell the kids where anything was, the kids don't know what the finances are, And they are left to figure all that out, right? And nothing tears apart a family more than finding that they're in a situation, they're mourning their parents, they're trying to figure out the house, and then they're trying to get all those documents together, all right? So make sure your foundation is secure. So these are the first things before you start downsizing, before you start organizing. These are the things you must take care of, okay? These are gifts you're giving to your family, to your relatives, whoever you want to take care of your estate once you've passed. You must have a revocable living trust, a last will and testament, financial power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive. This is really important. You need to tell your kids or who's ever going to make the decision, do we want to move forward with more extreme and a higher level of care? Or did mom or dad want to not have to go to that level of care? So let you make the decision and then they can act on it. Update your beneficiary. How many stories do we hear about the husband who married and forgot to update his will, and his first wife of 20 years ago got everything? Beneficiaries on your life insurance, beneficiaries on your retirement account, on your, all of them. Secure your digital assets. I tell you, I have more passwords than there are trees in the world. But if I don't tell people how to get into my financial assets, nobody's going to know what's there, and they're not going to be able to access those funds. Remember the story of the Bitcoin guy who had so many people's money, but nobody had the passcode to get into the Bitcoin account, so they were out of money. Tell your family where you have accounts, what the codes are, how much is in there, so that they know what to do upon your passing. Talk with them about your final wishes. That goes back to healthcare directives. Plan your final arrangements, right? I want to be buried here. I want to be cremated, and I want my ashes spread over the ocean, or I want a huge mausoleum in my name. And then the last thing is you have to tell your family what you want them to have. And why? Because non-titled personal and property inheritance is about the family and the stuff. So you make good plans for all your property and your house, but not making decisions about titled property. And I can tell you, who gets what and why carries a powerful message, right? Mom liked you more than me. Mom said I could have that. No. Dad said everything in the garage was mine. And that's when these home clearouts become a mess and the families are torn apart. Why? Distribution of personal possessions, 5 times more likely to cause family conflict than money. Don't do that to your kids. For a lot of families, when the parents pass, that's it. They don't get together anymore. They don't have holidays. They don't have any other family because they're all mad at each other because of this stuff. And that's a terrible legacy. Okay, so let's talk about getting your possessions in order. So create a dispersal area. Spend 15 minutes a day, which you're going to put on your calendar, because if it's not scheduled, it won't get done, right? You schedule doctor's appointments, you schedule lunch. This is right now in your life, and because you're on this webinar, this is a very important thing for you to get started. So schedule a time every day. Do the easy stuff first and do one space, one room. Don't try to walk in your house and get started, okay? So the first thing to do is set up a dispersal area. You have designate a space. It could be in the garage, in the dining room, anywhere. Just space so you know where things go once you've sorted. You need 4 boxes. You need plastic bags. And we use black donation bags. And do you know why? I'm sure most of you do. Because if you put things in a clear bag, when you're taking it out to the car to donate, you see that really cute sweater. And you think, why did I get rid of that? I love that sweater. So you dig it out of the bag and you hang it back up in your closet. But then what happens is 6 months later, that sweater goes right back in the bag. sometimes the hardest thing is to make the decision, right? Once you make the decision, move forward, don't look back, and also remove promptly. Once the bag is full enough and you can carry it, take it right out to your car. I know donation options are more limited, but get it out of your house, out of sight, out of mind. Okay, so what does your dispersal area look like for the 4 boxes? You're gonna have, first of all, a box for family. Put in things they might want, but also don't expect any outcomes. Don't be tied to the outcome of whether they take it or not. Number 2, maybe you do have a few things to sell. We'll talk about the true value and time versus money. Number 3, donate. And when you donate things, think about, these are things that others will want. They're not gonna want a t-shirt that's kind of old with spots on it. They're not gonna want plates that are chipped and cracked. Those all just need to go in the trash. And so, yes. And then the other thing to toss or to do, one of the things I encourage you to do right away is get rid of your hazardous waste in your garage. We don't handle that. It's easy. You make an appointment with you call your county disposal services. They'll tell you where you can take it. You make an appointment, you put it in your trunk, you drive through, and you're done. And then that's a great 15-minute. Okay, as you sort, here's the questions you need to start asking yourself. Do I really need it, right? Do I need do I need the 20 jars, glass jars I have under the counter? Do I really need all 20 of them? Maybe I'll save 2. Do I love it? Let's think about that gift from a friend. If you don't love it, if it doesn't bring you joy, don't keep it. Does my family want it? Really, do they want it? You can ask them. See if you can borrow it. If you're doing a one-time deal, a lot of times I bet your neighbors all have all the things that you might need. Would you buy it again? When's the last time you used it? And does it reflect your lifestyle? If you've decided you're not a baker anymore, but you've got a cupboard full of baking pans, you know you don't have to keep those because that's no longer an interest for you. And do the easy jobs first. If you look at this picture, I'm a little chagrined to tell you that that's my junk drawer. And everybody has a junk drawer. And if I go in your home, my guess is I could within a couple of drawers, I could find that junk drawer. Also, I know exactly what's in there. You've got twist ties, you've got old coupons, you've got tape, and you've got hammers, and you've got all sorts of things. But the job of your junk drawer is to have only the things that you need and know for sure that's where they should be. So here's how you do it. You take everything out, put it on the counter, you wipe it out, make it look nice and sparkly clean. Maybe you get a little organizer. Now you don't need to go out and buy anything because my suggestion is you don't buy anything else, right? Take a shoebox or whatever, but put in the things that belong here. If you've got a hammer or a plumber's wrench in there, which we often do, take it back to the garage. If you've got money and scraps of paper and scissors or whatever it is, put it in its right place. For everything else that's left, just take it, close your eyes, and put it all in the trash, right? Out of sight, out of mind, it's gone. It didn't have a place, right? If it doesn't have a place, it's gone. And then here's what's gonna happen. The next day, or later that same day, you're gonna be walking by that drawer and you're gonna open it and you're gonna look in there, and it's like that closet I showed earlier, right? You're gonna look in there and it's gonna be nice and clean and tidy, and you're gonna feel like taking that big deep breath. Oh, it's so good and orderly. That's the impetus, and that's the feeling that I want you to grow as you start doing it. So I'm going to give you some 15-minute jobs. First of all, I'll just jump to encyclopedias. Nobody accepts encyclopedias anymore. Nobody wants them. Everything's digital. The libraries do not want them. So start recycling them, all right? And then magazines. A lot of people keep a lot of magazines, years and years worth. Take the last 3 months and then recycle the rest because you know you're not going to read them, all right? Clothing. Keep the things you want to wear for comfort. I doubt any of you are going to wear your spiky high-heeled shoes, or if you have 10 evening dresses, I doubt those are going to be things you pull out of your closet anymore. Only have things when you open your closet, say, I want to wear all of this stuff, right? Orphan socks, always a headache. Get all your socks together, put them into mates, put them back in your drawer. All the socks left on your bed, throw them out. Then the next time you find an orphan sock, you'll know that you find the sock to a mate, right? You'll just throw that out too, because you know that the mate is gone. So now you won't have any more orphan socks. Go through your medicines and all your food, out of dates. Throw away all your whipped cream containers and all your yogurt containers. And if you have mismatched or chip dishes, toss them. Use your china. That's my suggestion. Okay. Photos. A lot of people said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my photos? My advice, if you really want to do a little work now and then, and I suggest you leave this for the end, that you leave this when you have time to really sit down and relax and enjoy it. And after you've downsized, here's my advice. Number one, throw all the landscape pictures away, because nobody is really interested in seeing what the countryside looked like 20 years ago. Keep pictures of people and only people you know. If you took a trip, keep the 10 best and put them in another folder. You can get them scanned. You can try to give them to your family, but ask your kids, when I die, will you take all the photos? And most probably they'll say, no, thank you, we don't want them. So get them scanned onto a disc, give everybody in the family the disc or the thumb drive, and then throw them away because your kids are going to. Or you can put them in electronic frames, screensavers, what else? Books. The things that our clients have most of are photos and books. And they say, my books are worth money. Well, things are worth what other people are willing to pay for them. And I can tell you, I have very few clients who have ever had books of value that they didn't know about. But if you think you have something and you want to check it out, you can go online to rarebookbuyer.com and you type in the author, condition, etc. And then it'll give you a price as to whether they're valuable or not. Okay, now let's talk about the rest. So this is our process when we work with clients. Family first, then is there anything to auction? You can consign, sell, donate, give things away, or recycle. Okay. The best option is always family and friends, right? I've said that many times. Give away as much as you can now to your family. If there are things you want to keep, continue to have in your home, that you want them to have eventually, put the names on it. Make a list. So-and-so gets this, so-and-so gets that. Now, sometimes you want the kids to have things that they don't want. It's okay. Here's the plan. When Christmas comes, you take that beautiful set of china, you wrap it, and you put the most gorgeous paper on it. And then when your daughter comes on Christmas morning and opens the box and sees all that china, her eyes will get wide and you say, I knew you'd be excited. Let's get that into your car right now so you don't forget it, right? And then you let go of the outcome. If she wants to keep it, great. If she wants to donate, that's fine. But you wanted her to have it and she's got it. All right. All that stuff. I think most of you know that the resale market is not very good. In fact, it's very poor. People are downsizing like crazy. Nobody wants to live with so much, right? Like they used to. So the resale market is very soft. And in the Valley, because there are so many people like yourselves, we have a high population of older adults, and all their stuff's coming onto the market. I talked about your rotten kids not wanting everything. People want smaller scale, they don't want antiques, and they don't want collectibles, okay? So what I recommend is you have to set realistic expectations. Take a deep breath and understand my things are valuable. When people say that to me, often on the first visit, when we do a walkthrough on the house, the clients say, I have a lot of things of value. Can you help me sell them? And my answer is yes, but the value of what you have is what someone else is willing to pay. And that's kind of the long and short of it, right? If you bought a beautiful dining room table and chairs, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, and you paid a lot of money then, maybe you paid $5,000, right? If somebody offers you $1 and that's the best deal you get, then that's what it's worth. If you want to look up things like China, flatware, collectibles, go onto eBay. That's the great, what is it worth website, okay? Also, I encourage you to change your mindset. How much does it cost to sell things? Remember we talked earlier about how much time you have left in your life, and maybe you've got 10%, maybe you've got 20% of your life yet to live. Do you want to spend time trying to sell things for $10, $100, or do you want to let them go? And think about, did you buy things for an investment, or did you buy things for enjoyment? Did you buy that dining room table because you thought, oh good, 30 years from now, I know I can sell it and make money? No, you bought it for enjoyment. And my guess is most of you really, really enjoyed it, okay? And let it go so it can be enjoyed by others. So many people correlate value with sentiment. So when you see your dining room table, you see fun Christmas and holiday parties and the family getting together and great times. So imbued in that table is your feelings of love and sentiment. What others see is a table, right? And also trying to find somebody who's worthy of your things is not worth your time, right? And then lastly, not lastly, but one of the things I want to focus on a lot that I think I forget to think about is really about gratitude, having gratitude. My thought is, for most of you, is you came here, you bought a home, your home has increased in value substantially, right? So now you have a lot. Most of you have been very lucky job-wise, right? You were here when Silicon Valley was getting started, and you financially, you're pretty well set. You, can look at moving into these communities. So instead of trying to make more money or trying to sell things because you bought them for money, I encourage you to just let them go. Think these are going to be enjoyed by others. Have gratitude for what you have. Even people who tell me, I don't want to sell my house because of the taxes. I want to stay in my house until I die, and so my kids won't have to pay taxes. My answer to that is, that's good news. That's a good problem to have, because you've been so lucky in this market and you've made so much money, right? Be grateful. And right now, a lot of people are hurting, and your donations and your letting things go can be helpful to others. Okay, what's the easiest way? I'll tell you, it's free. You can post things on Nextdoor. You can put it on the curb and say free stuff, right? I'll tell you a lot of times with our clients' approval, we put things on the curb and we put free on them. Some of them are nice things, right? And we do that because consignment stores have closed and we can't necessarily consign things. But I will tell you, the people who come by and pick up the stuff on the street need it. A lot of them take it to the flea market and resell it. And that's a way for them to put dinner on the table for their families. They're not going to go out and sell things for $1 million. It's a whole nother culture and a whole nother economic level that you're supporting. You can do large trash pickups sometimes with your trash folks. E-cycle your electronics. I think Goodwill, at least the one in Palo Alto, will take e-cycling, recycle. And then I talked earlier about hazmat, that it's important for you to take care of that turpentines and the paints and the weed killers. Okay. If you're planning to move, here's some thoughts to keep in mind. As you plan, think about your furniture, your decor, how much closet space you have, kitchens and meals. Will the community be preparing those? Will they do housekeeping? Do you need to bring linens? That'll help you figure out what you do and don't need. Okay. Now, the question is, if you're planning to move, are you ready? Okay, here's the scenario, right? You're waitlisted, and then Debbie calls you and says, congratulations, your apartment's ready. You know, it's time to move in. You got to move in or you're going to lose it. And then you find, oh my God, all my stuff. And then we're back to who's running the show, right? So if you're wondering when to get started, start now and be ready. When Debbie calls you and says, I have a beautiful apartment, it's exactly the one you want, it's ready now, you can say, I'll call my move managers and we'll get started, okay? And also the benefit of that is you're living in a lovely, peaceful, calm home, right? And get help. You shouldn't always do this alone. Ask a friend, family, neighbors, and move managers. That's what we provide. I have a whole amazing, awesome staff of people who love what they do, who love working and helping, especially older adults, because you guys are all so nice and well behaved. No, but it's been a joy. It's a joy. But we help you with move planning and timeline. We help with the downsizing. We do all the pack, unpack, and home setup. We take care of the movers for you. For all the things that you don't know what to do with, we find resources. We do the clear it at the end. We can do online estate sales. We can also help you declutter to stay home and then moves from state to state. Having somebody help you and having somebody to be responsible to will help your motivation. Okay. And don't let this happen to you, right? Don't say, I don't need to plan. I can get this. I can do all this. Use a floor plan, get a floor plan. Make sure what you have will fit in their space. And also, nobody wants to help you with your move if you promise them beer and pizza at the end, right? Some people say, well, I don't need help. I'll just do it myself. And this is what happens. This is on this top left. That's people's garages. They say, no, just put everything in the garage or just put everything in the living room and I'll unpack, right? And then they start unpacking and then death by boxes, right? So many people say, I'm going to do it myself. And that is an option, right? That's always an option. But why not choose this? So using a move manager, we help you figure out what you're going to take. Everything the day before, everything gets packed. You sleep at home. The next morning, we come with the movers. Everything gets loaded on the truck. We take it to your new apartment. Everything gets unloaded and we unpack everything. We set up your kitchen, plug your coffee pot in. We know what goes in the bath and where it goes because we packed it. We make your beds, we hang your clothes and take everything out. And when you get home, it's welcome home. It's my mother-in-law Jean's apartment. When she walks in and it says, it looks like home and I don't have to do anything, right? And you deserve this because most of you, it's been so long since you moved, you've saved all that money on moving, right? So how much does it cost generally? So estimates are based on the size of the house, how much stuff you have, the sorting time, and then how many of our services you want. Some people want a little help. Some people want a lot of help, and we're fine with that. But the average is $3,000 to $5,000 to get you moved in, plus the movers. That doesn't include complete home clear out and dispersal, but that's getting you sorted, packed, moved, unpacked, and set up. And consultations are free. Okay, so what is the path to successful right sizing? It's living an intentional life. It's having a vision. It is having that vision give you direction. And something else that I would really like to ask everyone, how can you leave this world a better place? What kind of legacy can you leave? And what can you do so that the generations after you live their best life as well? Okay. Eleanor Roosevelt said, today's the oldest you've ever been and the youngest you'll ever be. So when did you get started? Today. All right. Thank you all. Oh, one thing I said a little bit, but I really want to encourage is for you guys to stop buying stuff. I'm going to be trolling your neighborhoods. And if I see more Amazon boxes on the front porch, I'm going to know that you didn't follow my basics. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. That was awesome. You're so funny. I'm sitting here listening to you. I'm cracking up out loud, you know, when you're talking about giving the kids the presents and at Christmas time. It's hilarious. So I wanted everybody out there, all you homeowners out there, to just know, I want to put my realtor hat on for a second. And I want to let you know you're not alone. I think probably about 95% of my retirees have a bit too much stuff, lots of memories. They think that they can go through all of it. They think that they want to make sure that it's done their way, and they don't think it's going to take as long as it actually does. And they think that maybe the kids are going to help, and they think that they're wasting a right sizer's time, you know, and they think it's going to cost too much, and they wait too long, and then they get the paralysis of analysis, and then the retirement community calls, and then everybody has to scramble because everybody's busy, and scrambling is expensive. So what I want to get across to you is to be proactive. That proactivity is going to save you time and money and frustration. And my message to everyone is always think ahead, start early. And to let you know, I'm usually working with homeowners and the move manager and the retirement community about a year in advance, sometimes even longer. And so when Debbie calls to say that your unit is ready, we need to be ready, because we only have 60 days. And of that 60 days, 2 weeks of it is getting your house ready to go on the market. And that could include staging and doing all these different things and getting an offer. Then we've got a 30-day close of escrow and then 2 weeks at the end. That's how fast that 60 days goes. So now is the time to get rid of the piano and the pool table and the big dining room set and the old couch that you don't sit on anymore. And I know you can do it. Cindy is a great motivator. You can do it with the right people. And if you could imagine a three-legged stool, you've got Debbie on one leg, you've got your realtor on the other leg, and a move manager. That's about all you need. You don't complicate it and have 5 legs to your stool and 10 legs to your stool. If you stick with these 3 people, you can get a lot of done. My analogy usually is, you know how when you go to the gym by yourself, your results are going to be mediocre, you're going to end up slowing down, and you're going to get discouraged. But when you have a personal trainer there waiting for you, they're going to help you, they're going to give you advice and tips, and your results are going to be much better. So I want you to know I've been working with Cindy and her team for at least 10 years now. There's not one single client who has ever regretted using her services. They all have the same concerns you have, all the concerns that I have already mentioned. They always tell me they couldn't imagine of doing it by themselves. It was worth every penny. So start early. You want to be proactive. You don't want to be rushing around at the end, and you want to do things on your terms so it's actually fun. I mean, downsizing can be a real joy instead of a real chore, and Cindy's team can help you do that. So, Deb, don't you agree?
I do agree, Brian. And it's a great service. It's worth its weight in gold. Um, Use it. It's turnkey. When you move into your apartment, everything is put into place. Your bed is made, the dishes are put away, your toothbrush is hung. It's turnkey. You enter the community and you're already settled into your apartment, and you're settled in as a resident, enjoying things within the community and meeting new neighbors and making new friends. It's so much better to use the service so that you come in, you're settled, and you're not living out of boxes. So using a downsizer, a move organizer, and the three-legged stool, there's Brian, there's Cindy, and myself. We are here to support you. We are here to make a seamless transition through every aspect of your move, from selling your home to downsizing into joining the community. So we really do work together as a team and assisting everyone come in. And we want it to be a positive experience during this time. So take advantage of the support of all the support services that we offer. And I'll be calling you when that apartment is ready.